Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I'm sharing the cards I made using Spellbinders October 2022 Card Kit of the Month. The theme is Oh What Fun. In addition to the card kit, there are also two add-ons available. There's a sticker pack and also a die cut sentiment pack. And I will have links for everything in the description box below. For one of my cards, I'll also be using the embossing folder of the month for October. For my first card, I selected two different pattern papers. I have a red and white diagonal stripe paper that I'll be using for the background, and then this beautiful ornament pattern paper. I'll layer that on some red cardstock and then add it to the red and white stripe paper. Put my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Next, I'll be adding a stitched oval die cut. And this white cardstock is actually one of the card bases that's included in the kit. I don't use them for card bases, but I love the cardstock since it does have a textured finish on one side. It's perfect for going behind sentiments and images. I have 3 of the die cut pieces. The sentiment is Christmas Wishes, and this is part of the add-on die cut set. Pop all of those up using some foam dimension. The snowman and polar bear are so cute. I thought they looked perfect together, and the colors match beautifully with the ornament pattern paper. I'll add a small banner in the upper right hand corner using some teal cardstock, glue that down using liquid adhesive. Then I'll add a few of the snowflake puffy stickers. Now these do have adhesive on the back, but they're not super sticky, so I am adding a little bit of liquid adhesive as well. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll add a few gold sequins. These are not included in the kit, but they are made by Spellbinders. I'll add 2 in the upper right hand corner, 2 in the lower left hand corner, and 1 next to the snowflake on the right side of the polar bear. I am using an embellishment wand to pick those up, adding just a small drop of liquid adhesive and then pressing them in place. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. This is one of my favorite cards. I love the adorable images. Now moving on to card design number 2. I'll be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Sugar Pea Designs. It's Sugar Sketch number 51. And if you are interested in any of the card sketches I use in this video, I share all of that information on my coordinating blog post. That link is provided in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. For the background piece, I have 2 different pattern papers, a fun stripe paper for that narrow strip, and then a pink and white pattern with the sentiment cheer, joy, and love on it. I did round the left corners, and I'll layer it on some pink cardstock. To add some separation between those 2 pattern papers, I'm using a Love from Lizzie peel off. This is the straight style, so it's a little bit wider than the traditional pinstripe. And this is the pink holographic color, super sparkly. For the background of the card, I have some white shimmer cardstock that I added a fun stitched pierce detail using a die from Pink Fresh Studio. Then I'll layer that on the same pink cardstock, add my pattern paper panel. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. For the narrow strip toward the bottom of the card, this is actually some pattern paper. It's a tone-on-tone red polka dot pattern. I cut the left side at an angle and adhered it to the card. Next, I'll add 1 of the die cut pieces, this cute little snow globe with 2 deer, and the sentiment is Season's Greetings. And I did pop that up using some foam dimension. I'll add a small banner in the upper left-hand corner as indicated on the card sketch, and I use some teal cardstock for that. Then to finish off the card, I'll use some more of the gold sequins. I'm basically following the pattern of embellishments from the card sketch, but I did add 1 extra sequin since there are only 4 pictured on the sketch. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I love the addition of the pink color for Christmas cards. Makes me so happy. For card design number 3, the card sketch is from MFT. This is number 304. For this card, I won't be using any of the pattern paper. Instead, I'll be focusing on cardstock and some of the dies that are included in the kit. I love the blue and red cardstock. It's so vibrant, and both of these are included in the kit. I embossed the blue cardstock using the Radiant Burst embossing folder. I believe it was Spellbinders' April embossing folder of the month. And I'm using the deboss side. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and also some liquid adhesive, then adhere it to some white shimmer cardstock. I'll adhere my card front onto a card base. Next, I'll add a Love from Lizzie peel off between the two cardstock pieces, and that'll help cover up any gap if I didn't get those cut perfectly. This is the gold color in the pinstripe style, and I'll use a craft knife to trim the end. I'll add a stitched oval die cut, and this white cardstock is one of the card bases that's included in the kit. Put some liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it onto the blue side of the card. The green cardstock for the Christmas tree is included in the kit. It's another really vibrant color. I'll adhere that down first, then I'll glue the sentiment underneath the tree, and I use the gold mirror cardstock that's included in the kit for the sentiment, the garland, and also the star on top of the tree. To decorate my tree, I'll start with a garland, using my reverse tweezers to hold these tiny pieces in place, putting some liquid adhesive on the back and adhering them right onto my green Christmas tree. There are 3 different sizes of garland, so you can work your way up the tree with a smaller piece. I put some foam dimension on the back of the star. And next I'll add all of the ornaments, and I decided just to go with red for those. I'll add a small drop of liquid adhesive onto the tree where I want those ornaments, then pick them up using my embellishment wand since they are super tiny. I'll add just a few more red ornaments to the lower portion of the Christmas tree. The kit also includes dies to assemble a Santa head, but I decided just to use the Christmas tree. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. This is another favorite card of mine. Very simple, but I love the vibrant colors. For card design number 4, the card sketch is from OWH. This is number 203. I have 2 different pattern papers, the red tone-on-tone polka dot paper for the background, and then a green tone-on-tone pattern that has some teeny tiny little snowflakes on it. I'll cut a fishtail on the bottom for all of those green strips, then adhere them in place. I'll lay out all of those green pieces first to try to get them evenly placed. Adhere the one in the center first, then do the one on the right, and then the last strip on the left. Then I'll layer this panel on some dark red cardstock. Add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/4 of an inch of the white card base showing. For this card, I really wanted that wide white border from the card base. Using a stitch circle die, I cut out this beautiful floral pattern paper, and I did cut out a second circle, glued those 2 pieces together for some extra stability. Then I'll put liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it to my card. For the sentiment, I'm using one of the die cut pieces. This is from the add-on set, Merry and Bright, and I did put some foam dimension on the back side. I'll adhere it to the lower portion of the circle. Then I'll also add one of the die cut images, beautiful poinsettia. I have some foam dimension on the back, and I'll put liquid adhesive in the area where it touches the sentiment die cut piece. Then to finish off the card, I'll add a few of the gold sequins, 1 to the left of the sentiment and 2 above the floral image. And for a final finishing touch, I'll add a little bit of sparkle to the poinsettia using a clear glitter brush. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. With all of the beautiful pattern paper and die cut pieces, it's easy to make a ton of Christmas cards. For card design number 5, the card sketch is from OWH. This is number 125. The white cardstock I'm using for the background is one of the card bases cut down, and I'm also adding a strip of green plaid pattern paper. I'll layer this piece on some dark green cardstock, add my card front onto a card base. For the narrow strip that goes across the card, I'm using the same green tone-on-tone pattern paper that has the tiny snowflakes on it. Before adhering that, I will add some small scrap cardstock pieces on the very right and left side, and that'll just help it stay at the same level. The pattern paper is on the thinner side, and if I didn't add those small scrap pieces, there'd be a noticeable dent on the front of the card. And my crafty OCD will not allow that. I did cut that strip just a little bit too wide, so I flipped over my card to trim off the extra. Now I'll bring in several of the die cut pieces, and these are all from the add-on sentiment set. The green and red plaid piece was actually a banner, so I cut it down so it was about the same length as some of the other tags, and then I trimmed the top 2 corners so it had the same design as the other 3 tags. I'll glue all 4 of those down. The Hey Santa is smaller than the other 3 tags, but I think it still works nicely for this card design. I'll add the Sentiment Joy on top of the tag on the right, and I did pop that up using foam dimension. At the top of the card I have some more die cut images, Santa's mailbox, Santa, and also a letter addressed to Santa. And I did pop all of those up using some foam dimension. I'll adhere the mailbox down first, then overlap Santa and the letter on the left and right side. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some more of the gold sequins. 2 of them in the upper left-hand corner, a couple around the images, and 1 in the lower right-hand corner. The kit does include a lovely pack of sequins, but I think the gold works really well with the Christmas cards. So there is my finished card, and again I did make 2 using this design. It's nice that the kits always have 2 each of all of the die cut pieces. Makes it simple to create multiples of the same card. Now moving on to card design number 6. The card sketch is from MFT. This is number 603, and I think this is a really fun card sketch. And of course, as soon as I started the card, I ran out of ATG tape, so I did need to take a quick break to refill that. I am putting a small drop of liquid adhesive on the corners just because it's hard to get the ATG tape all the way to the edge. I selected 2 different pattern papers. I have some gingerbread pattern paper on a pretty pink snowflake background, or maybe it's polka dots, it's super tiny, and then also some of the peppermint candy pattern paper. I cut the gingerbread paper at a triangle and adhered it in the lower right hand corner. Then I have 2 different pieces of the peppermint pattern paper. For a little bit of sparkle and contrast, I used a Love from Lizzie peel off along the edge of the gingerbread pattern paper. This is the pinstripe style in the pink holographic color. Next I'll add 1 of the peppermint pattern papers toward the top of the card, and I'm trying to make sure the gap between all of those, that white cardstock area, is nice and straight. So that's how I'm lining everything up. Then I can flip over the panel to trim off the extra, and then add the final peppermint candy pattern paper piece on the left side. Once I have that in place, I'll flip over the panel, use my scissors to cut off the extra. I'll use some more of the pink holographic peel-offs to line the peppermint candy pattern paper, this time using the narrowest width. Along the gingerbread, I used the medium width. And since I don't need full strips, I was able to use up some of the smaller scraps. This is why you always save those extra pieces of the peel-offs. I'll wrap the ends around the back, and I'll do the same to that final peppermint pattern paper piece. The pink holographic peel-offs are my favorite, so I'm always excited to see some pink in the pattern paper. Now I'll put some ATG tape on the back and layer this piece on some green cardstock. The card kit does include several sheets of colored cardstock, but I bring in additional cardstock since I love adding layers to my cards. I've already stamped out the sentiment. This is Christmas starts with a smile. Cut a fishtail on the right side, and I'll adhere it in that wide gap between the 2 pattern papers. Next I'll add a stitch circle die cut, and I will have it go off the edge of the card, flip it over and trim off the extra so it's all the way flush to the left side. Now I'll add a few of the gingerbread die cut pieces, and I did put foam dimension on the back side. 1 of the gingerbread men will go on the circle die cut, and the other 2 will go above it. Kind of a playful look of the gingerbread sort of tumbling around. And it's fun since all of their arms are in different positions. The kit also has 2 of the gingerbread men in the chipboard stickers, but for this card I'm just using the die cut pieces. For embellishments on my card, I'm using some more Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in the same pink holographic color. Put 2 of them in the lower left-hand corner and 3 in the upper left-hand corner. These are perfect to use for embellishments, especially if you don't want the added dimension since they're nice and flat. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll use a clear glitter brush and add a little bit of sparkle to the buttons on all of the gingerbread men. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I think this is a really fun card, and hopefully it'll make someone smile. For card design number 7, the card sketch is from MFT. This is number 610. I used the October embossing folder of the month for the background on this beautiful mint green pattern paper, and I've already added some gold metallic splatter. I'll layer that piece on some dark green cardstock, add my card front onto a card base. Next, I'll add one of the chipboard frames, this fun pink and white striped frame. There is adhesive on the back side, but I'll also add some liquid adhesive as well. I'm putting a piece of white cardstock on the back side. Then I'll adhere it to the front of my card in the lower left-hand corner. I don't think there's really an up or down side for the frame, so I was trying to decide which direction I like the best. And I'll place my acrylic block on top for some added weight while the glue adheres. Now I'll add a die cut image and also one of the die cut sentiments. This beautiful pink candle with some poinsettias at the base, and the sentiment is peace, love, cheer. I did put some foam dimension where it's on the inside of the frame, and then I'll put liquid adhesive on the area where it touches the frame. I had a little too much foam dimension on the back of the sentiment, so I did need to trim part of that off. Then I'll adhere it next to the candle on the right side. I'll add 3 of the star die cut pieces. These are a pretty gold foil. I'll just glue those down using liquid adhesive, putting them in the upper right hand corner. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll add a little bit of sparkle to the flowers at the base of the candle. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For the second card, I used a gold and white frame since there's only 1 each of all of the chipboard frames. For card design number 8, the card sketch is from OWH. This is number 10. I have 2 different pattern papers, the green tone-on-tone snowflake paper for the lower portion, and then some blue and white snowflake paper for the very top strip. I'll adhere those to some dark green cardstock. There is a gap between the 2, but I will be covering that up. Using the cardstock from one of the card bases, I cut out this panel. And the fun borders are from Spellbinders Winter Border Die Set. I put a strip of double-sided tape on the top and bottom of this piece, and also some liquid adhesive. Since it does have this stitched edge and this scallop border, I want to make sure it'll still lay nice and flat. Now I'll add a Love from Lizzie peel-off above that scallop border. This is the clear iridescent color in the pinstripe style. I used the widest width. It does have glitter, but it's all sealed, so this won't make a mess at all. I love the look of glitter, but I do not enjoy the mess, and since I donate so many of my cards, sometimes that glitter is not allowed. So I'm always happy when that glitter is sealed, so it doesn't make a mess. Now I'll add 3 of the house die cut images, and I do have foam dimension on the back side. I'll put the tallest house, which is the teal house, in the center, the gray house on the left, and the pink house on the right. For sentiment, I'm using another die cut piece. This is from the add-on set, Season's Greetings, and I did pop that up with some foam dimension as well. Then to finish off the card, I'll add a couple of the gold sequins in the upper left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I didn't have enough of the green pattern paper for the second card, so I used some fun Christmas tree pattern paper for that card. Now moving on to card design number 9. The card sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar Sketch number 37. I selected 2 different pattern papers, the fun colorful tree paper and also some light blue and white snowflake pattern paper. I'm putting the 2 snowflake strips on some blue cardstock, and it'll leave a small gap between those 2 pieces. I'll add a Love from Lizzie peel off inside that gap. And I could use some of those small pieces since most of it will be covered up, but I wasn't thinking about it when I was adding it. This is a white color and it has some gold foiling on the edge. I'll put my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I did round the bottom 2 corners of the tree paper, layered that on some green cardstock. I'll adhere that in place. Then using that same green cardstock, I'm adding a narrow strip across the card, and I did put some scrap cardstock pieces on the very right and left side. And of course I dropped it glue side down on top of my card. Luckily I was able to wipe away that glue, and once it dried I can't even tell where the glue was. I think I save all of those errors for when I'm actually recording a video. Next I'll add one of the chipboard frames, this fun oval shape with the gold foil polka dots. I'll remove the release paper, put some liquid adhesive on that back side, and also an oval die cut, so now I have a white background. I'll adhere that to my card, add the sentiment Merry Christmas on the lower portion of the oval, and then add this fun die cut image with 5 different Christmas trees. And I did put foam dimension on the back of the trees, so it's at the same level as that chipboard frame. Then to finish off the card, I'll add a few more of the die cut pieces, 3 different snowflakes. I'll add 2 in the upper left hand corner and 1 underneath the sentiment on the right side. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For the second card, I used a light blue oval frame. Now moving on to my final card design. The card sketch is from Sketch Saturday. This is number 710. I selected 2 different pattern papers, fun candy cane pattern paper for the lower portion, and some sprinkles or confetti pattern paper for the top. And there are some gold foil sprinkles on that paper. Kind of hard to see in the video. Add both of those pieces to some dark red cardstock. Then I'm using one of the die cut pieces, this little scallop border. It's not wide enough to go all the way across the card, but since I will be adding an image on the left side, I'm able to cut it down, put a small piece on the left and the wider piece on the right side. Then I'll add a Love from Lizzie peel off above that scallop border. This is the gold color in the pinstripe style. I'll adhere a stitched oval die cut on the left side, and that's where my image will go. And the image I'm using is my favorite in the whole kit. It's a little gingerbread man sitting in a cup of cocoa. How cute is that? I did put some foam dimension on the back side, and I'll adhere it onto the oval. This sentiment I've already stamped out. I hope your holidays are sweet. I think that goes perfectly with the pattern paper and the cute little image. I'll use a clear glitter brush to add some sparkle to the candy cane and also the buttons on the gingerbread man. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll add some more of the gold sequins. 2 in the upper right hand corner and 3 around the image. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. This is another favorite card of mine. I love the adorable image and fun colors of the pattern paper. Now here's another look at the 20 cards I made using Spellbinders October 2022 Card Kit of the Month. The theme is Oh What Fun. This is an adorable Christmas kit, lots of fun colors and sweet images. If you are interested in subscribing to Spellbinders Club Kits, I do have links provided in the description box below. In order to receive this kit, you do need to sign up and subscribe by October 28th. And don't forget, there are a couple of add-ons that coordinate with this kit, and I will have links for all of that in the description box below. Spellbinders has several other club kits available. There's a stamp of the month, several different dies of the month, an embossing folder of the month. If you like to do hot foiling, there's even a glimmer hot foil club of the month. And if you want to join all of their club kits, you can do that at a discounted price. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.